LBC Trojan, appreciate you being here. Let's get a question from Matt. Which positions do you believe USC will address through the portal between now and fall camp?
Good question. I think the main point of emphasis remains line play, offensive and defensive lines. And if you had to pick one of the two, it'd be defensive line. Defensive line remains the number one need in terms of a position group. Offensive line second. And then the reason why I put offensive line second is because the actual starting offensive line, the very top of the depth chart, that looks pretty good. Like the Trojans and their coaching staff, they like the starters they have on the offensive line, but they're thin. Now, Bobby Haskins of Virginia, this is a reminder here, he transferred from Virginia, was an excellent pass protector for Brennan Armstrong in the high-flying Cavaliers offense. He was not able to play in spring ball. He wasn't healthy enough, so you didn't see him in the spring. Should be available for August camp, so you'll be able to get him in practices, get him up to speed in Lincoln Riley's system. So that's an important addition. But, we all know that USC whiffed in the Josh Connerly pursuit, and Connerly would have eaten up a lot of snaps had the Trojans brought him into the fold. So you have that acute need to get some bodies that are going to be able to eat up snaps so that you can rotate multiple layers of offensive linemen, especially in the early part of the season. Get them familiar with the offense. Make sure no guys aren't playing too much in the early September heat, et cetera, et cetera. So offensive line is still a very acute need, but not as much as the defensive line. But that would be second, and then the third need is still the secondary. And as we mentioned, the Stanford's play-by-play man thinks that the secondary is going to be where Stanford and David Shaw attack in week 2. So that's enough of a verdict, enough of a revelation, which should tell you that USC still needs to beef up that position, especially at the safeties rather than the corners. The safeties in particular, that's where USC is also going to need to continue to make additions in the portal.